Listen to the vortex.
Absolutely, because you can have the Star Trek idea of a one world government, everybody's nice. The problem is the people running the global government are not nice people, and they want control. Basically, I use the they live analogy, and we'll come back to break and get your take on this, both of you, as the globalists are like psychopaths that are building a psychopathic world government. So the allegory of them being space aliens and they live is absolutely accurate, because these aren't like regular people, and they punch our emotional buttons. They punch our human buttons to cold-bloodedly control us. So how do we learn how the psychopaths operate so we're aware of their tricks, so as good people we can come together and not blow the planet up? We're going to come right back with our amazing guest, both of our guests, Sean Stone and Rowdy Roddy Piper. Straight ahead, it's the 25th anniversary of They Live, and I'm told the DVDs are selling off the stores like hotcakes. We'll be right back. RowdyRoddyPiper.com, and it's a really great site. Has a lot of really interesting information up there on it. And he also has his Twitter, which we'll put up on screen for TV viewers. But for radio listeners, you can simply go to the address. You guys put his Twitter up on screen. It's on that computer right there. And folks can go there and check that out as well. But guys, continuing with where we left off about consciousness, it's R_Roddy_Piper. It's at R_Roddy_Piper, or RowdyRoddyPiper.com, as I said. Where do you see the whole world going currently? We were talking about globalism, the New World Order, the things that are happening. Do you have hope for your children and your grandchildren?
Oof. I guess I'm the only one that's got children between the two of us, huh? I'm a little afraid for my youngest. I've got 4 children, most beautiful children in the world, in my opinion. And the youngest just is going to PSU to become a doctor. And they're all over this kind of thing. She's very aware. Fallon is my youngest. She's 18 years old. She's very aware of what's going on in the world. The internet, you know, I'm from the generation before computers. And the internet's got so much information that the thing is, the kids, they're targeting the kids, and they're telling them how to think. They're dumbing them down in school. For instance, when my kids were in school, they had like no paper days. They didn't have paper to write on because of a shortage, or they'd pull the teachers. And that's a real heat getter for a dad who makes a living wrestling with his body. When I go to feed my family, and all of a sudden you've got a school that has no paper for my kids. So why do you have no? Well, you see, it all starts with the kids. And as you get older and a little wiser, you're harder to fool. But you put up another pop idol for the kids. Put up another piece of music that maybe is nothing but vulgarity for the kids. You know, bang it into them. You know, I can remember, I think you know the Brunswick affair probably, Alan.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and for those who don't know about the Brunswick affair, very quickly, about, I think, in the early 60s, they had a TV called the Brunswick. And the people that bought it, Dad would go to work, Mom would be there, and Dad would come back home, and all of a sudden she bought 20 pounds of dog food, but they don't have a dog. And they found out that there was a little button in the TV called the Brunswick. And when the commercials came on, they did something that shot out these waves and made you buy. That's in the early 60s. Can you imagine how sophisticated they are now? Holy cow. So if they had that kind of mind control back then, The only reason I think that I'm not a good case study for them is because I was a born gypsy. I don't really there's no place to halter me, and I'm not afraid to speak out. But they're my children. And you say, what do I worry about my children? And I have 5 grandchildren. And I'm very worried about them because the earth is not stable right now.
Absolutely, because it's being run by control freak psychopaths that might as well be space aliens from another planet. And you raise the whole point about mind control. In the 40s, they would put subliminal ads in movie theaters and double sales of Coca-Cola. And now it's so much more high-tech, and it's working on the zombified public, but there is a minority that it actually has the opposite effect on. And I want to talk about that in the long segment when we come back, and also open the phones up for questions on They Live for Mr. Piper and Mr. Stone, 25th anniversary. But here's the big question when we come back, Rowdy. Why are we somewhat immune? Why does the propaganda only irritate us? Why does the signal only make us get angry and more awake? What is different from us than the general zombified public? We'll be right back. Rowdy Roddy Piper on my show. This is so cool. And the whole office is pretty excited listening to him on the show. Everybody loves They Live. You know, I got to say, They Live is probably in my top 3 films. Anytime I run into it on television, I have to watch it. My wife's always like, there you are watching that on DVD again. I've probably seen it 100 times. And because it just breaks down everything. It's so incredibly evergreen. And there he is, radio listeners. You go to Infowars.com/show, see the free video feeds. There is Mr. Piper right there on our screen. So, sir, you heard the question before the break, dealing with the nature of reality, dealing with, you know, all the points that are being basically put out there by the media. What do you think at the bottom of the rabbit hole? What do you think's really going on, and dovetailing it with They Live?
Right, so many variables. First of all, just before the break, you were saying, why does it control some people, and why does somebody like myself or maybe Sean, it doesn't control? And with They Live, the character Nada was based very much on my life. I don't come from any place. I was born in a place called Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, coldest place on earth. And I was moved all over the world till I was 13, and I went out by myself. And then I got into a business with no rules. Pro wrestling at 15, no rules at all. You could do, the only thing is, you had to survive it. So I wasn't raised under the institution. I wasn't there to program every day. They got to hit you every day. I understand on the signs, but in my particular case, my job was to make you angry. And so I was doing a lot of subliminal things in my interviews. And from my own business, I know what it is to control somebody. It's like when the radio first came out, and people that would sit by the radio and Seabiscuit would listen to the race, or Joe Louis was Max Schmeling, I can't remember the other guy's name.
The boxing. Yeah.
They would all tune into the radio because it was like this unbelievable device. And then when television came on, one of the hottest shows was pro wrestling, because it was easily produced, and it's an international language. But within my ranks, there are no rules, so you can't program me. And then once you get a little older, and I've seen people that are programmed, you learn how they do that. And it becomes evident that the different things that they do in the government, questions you're not allowed to ask. Jesse Ventura is a good friend of mine, been a tag team partner, and Jesse told me they gave Jesse a lot of, they wanted to know how Jesse got to be governor. And Jesse himself had told me about a situation he got into where these government officials came and took him underground and started asking him questions. They just didn't realize Jesse's not afraid. And Jesse Ventura lives in Mexico. I talk to him as often as I can. So Jesse's not a programmable guy either.
All of us have been touched by death. But when it comes from a suicide, whether it's accidental or intentional, whether it's from depression or an accidental overdose, it can be devastating to the people that are left behind. Skid Row did a song years ago that totally just embodies the whole emotion. Listen when you're hearing Sebastian Bach sing, just listen to the lyrics. This is Skid Row, Wasted Time.
You and I together in our lives, sacred ties will never fray. Then why can't I let myself tell lies and watch you die every day? I think back to the times when dreams were what mattered. Dark-stalking youth naivety. You said you never let me down, but the horse stampedes and rages in the name of desperation. Is it all just wasted time? Can you look at yourself when you think of what you left behind? Is it all just wasted time? Can you live with yourself when you think of what you've left Paranoid delusions, they harm you. Where's my friend I used to know? He's all alone, he's buried deep within a carcass, searching for a soul. Can you feel inside your heart as it's bleeding? Why can't you believe you can be loved? Why can't you scream in agony? And the horse stampedes and rages in the name of desperation. Is it all just wasted time? Can you look at yourself when you think of what you left behind? Is it all just wasted time? Can you live with yourself when you think of what you've left behind? get this far, boy.